week, I am extremely excited to welcome to the show someone I met years and years ago. You might be able to tell me what year it was actually, Summer. Summer McStravick is a personal growth coach, author, podcaster, and creator of Flow Dreaming. And just by the way, also creator of Hay House Radio. For those of you who are old school enough to remember Hay House Radio. Flow Dreaming, which is an energy technique for manifesting, healing, and inner emotional strength. And we are all about manifesting and inner emotional strength here on the show. Her books and podcasts have been used worldwide to transform people's inner emotional landscapes, which I love, as well as their external lives. Her latest book is called Stuff Nobody Taught You. Summer has been teaching flow dreaming for 18 years. Previously, she worked for Louise Hay for a decade and created hayhouseradio.com. Find her at flowdreaming.com or through her podcast, Flow Dreaming. Welcome to the show, Summer McStravick. Am I saying it right?
Yes, you got it. It's a good Scottish name.
It's a Scottish name. Okay, but you are in California.
Beautiful, sunny California.
Summer, do you remember the year that you went to Australia?
I sure do. It was the same year that I got to swim on the Great Barrier Reef, and it was 2009. Big international Hay House
Actually,
conference.
not that long ago then. So what's that about?
Wow.
15 years ago. It felt like longer ago than that to me.
Yeah.
But you would have been there with Hay House, and I would have somehow met you at a bar in Sydney. Yes, and I remember because you were lovely, you were American, blonde, and you had a name like Summer McStravick, which is such a great name. So, okay, so you created Hay House Radio, which was so brilliant. I did a show on there for quite a few years, which of course has now given way to all the podcasts that we do and the Hey You and all, you know, all the amazing things that Hay House does with audio these days. It's all moved forward because of times changing. But you sound like you've been busy. So tell us, because what I wanted to know, I love the sound of flow dreaming. And so I thought, okay, come on the show, tell us what it is and how we can work with it. And can we work with it with the new moon or the full moon? Which the new moon is when we set our intentions for manifesting, and the full moon is when we let it all go. So with a focus on manifesting, tell us about flow dreaming.
Absolutely, you can work with the moon. In fact, when I teach my own live classes and students, I tend to plan it on the full moon or the new moon, or as in tomorrow, the actual equinox. You know, the moon, dreaming, it all kind of goes together. So
sure does.
So for instance, tomorrow, at least when we're recording this, tomorrow is going to be the spring equinox, in the new moon. And we'll be going into what I call flow space, which is very easy to get into. The way that I get in is I just daydream. And that's where the dreaming part of flow and dreaming comes from. So it's not hard. It's not like meditation where you have to kind of teach yourself and practice over and over. You just daydream. And we all know how to do that. The difference is it's sort of like lucid dreaming at night when you wake up in your dream. You don't lose yourself in this daydream like we normally do. We catch ourselves. Oh, where was I the last 20 minutes? I was daydreaming. We're staying in the daydream, and we're sort of guiding it and managing it. Now, flow, as you know, is a psychological recognized state, which is where you feel like you're outside of time, you're outside of space, you forget how much time has gone by. You're sort of you're working at an optimal or peak efficiency. This will happen naturally. It's just like the transition from when you're awake, and then boop, you're asleep. We will naturally transition into flow. Now, where the manifesting part comes in is emotion. So I sometimes call myself the queen of emotion because that's really what my coloring box is. I have all these different emotions that we get to work with, and people are familiar with some, like gratitude or joy. I say, well, let's expand that range. Let's get some yellow crayons and green ones and blue ones and misty moonlight ones. Every emotion that we bring into this flow space through our daydreaming is carving and shaping us. This is how we're communicating with life in the universe. So I'm a big believer in riding on the existing flow or waves of energy, such as the moon gives to us, right? It tugs and pulls our bodies. And we women in particular know we tend to sync up with that old moon. So if you already recognize that the moon is a powerful force of flowing energy, and it literally is flowing because it's flowing around and around and around, circular every month, yin and the yang. We can actually capitalize on that to do some very specific things in our manifesting practice.
sorry, what does a flow dreaming manifesting practice look like?
Oh, good question. So I spend about 10-15 minutes every day. Sometimes I also drop into it in smaller amounts, 2, 3, 5 minutes. The characteristic is you're going to be closing your eyes. You're going to relax briefly. I like to do some good breathing, kind of get my energy focused. And then I'm going to imagine something. And I usually imagine something that will, one, lead me into a daydream pretty easily. There are some favorite places I go. One of them is called Sugar Sand Beach. It's just an image that I have of a beautiful white powdered beach that stretches on into infinity. The sky above me is lit with stars. So it's a dark night, but a bright sunlit beach. I don't know how they came together somehow. Flowing on one side is this big ocean of light. It's just pure energy. The sand beneath my feet. Again, the sculpting energy of making anything that I want. And I begin to walk along this beach and I begin to feel the alignment of it. Once I'm feeling totally in alignment with, for me, it represents all good things, where I'm supposed to be going in life, who I'm becoming, whatever power or problems or whatever I'm working on. It's all just moving in the utmost right and perfect direction where all of my needs are met. First, I establish that feeling. Then I'll move into, well, what am I here for today? What am I creating in my life? And this is where I'll bring my powerful emotion into it. So for instance, being that it's springtime and we're launching some new things, I might be saying something like, well, this year I'm going to finish writing this book about intuition, empathic intuition. I'm going to get it done. And I feel it just, arcing out of my fingers like streams of light. And I feel so buoyant, joyful, and happy, eager to have this done, eager to have the world just tug it from my grasp and say, we want it so much. Please, please give it to us. I'm describing it, but I'm actually moving through the emotional feeling states of all of this. It's very potent and it's very all at once. And then when I'm done, I release the image. I realize that I'm still sitting here and I'm actually sitting inside of a body. And here I come back. Now, I might do it again throughout the day because I particularly like to use slow dreaming whenever I engage in what I call lack thinking, right? Some people call it limited beliefs and so on. But if I'm sitting here thinking, God, I really don't want to send this email. This is such a difficult problem and I have to deal with this. I go, oh, you're bracing for something. You've got some lack thinking around that. Do you want to shift how you feel? Because as long as you're sending that out, you're going to get the resistance you're expecting. So then I'll go into my flow very briefly. And I'll instead feel like, oh, this wraps up so beautifully. All of everything comes together so right and wonderfully. It's better than I ever could have expected. Oh my God, I'm so surprised at how this worked out. Wow. And then boom, I'll send the email. So I use it as a practice, continuously, just depending on what I want to do. I can use it for healing. I can use it for manifesting. God, I use it for everything. Flow dreaming is a technique, but it's also kind of expanded into a whole philosophy of being and living and how we work with our emotions and so on.
So tell me, are you able to lead us in some flow dreaming?
Yes. Do we have about 10 minutes? Maybe
Yeah,
8?
we have about 10 minutes.
All righty, then we'll go for it. So when I close my eyes and go to the space, I lose track of time. If,
All right. So
if I end up going longer, you tell me.
Okay.
Go, beautiful.
All right.
Stop.
Shall I put on some music?
If you want to.
I mean, I feel like music. We'll put some music in afterwards.
Yeah,
all right.
That's great. Now, note, I often use very upbeat music that has kind of energy to it, because again, I don't want to bring anybody into a hypnotic state. That's not the point. And if you're just listening and absorbing, oh, your subconscious is drinking it in, but you're not utilizing the outward. I always say flow dreaming is up and out, right? So that's where we're going, energetically expanding. All right, so close your eyes. Let's do this.
Maybe you'll need to give me some music because all mine's very meditative and dreamy.
You can. Some people are more used to that, and so they prefer it, but either way. All right, so close your eyes. Take a deep breath with me. Exhaling. Very, very briefly. We're just going to relax your body because we're doing a sped up version here. So your stomach releases, your lower back relaxes. You can go ahead and wiggle your shoulders. You can roll your neck. Open and close your jaw. And just touch on all the points of your body where you typically hold tension, and Reassure your body that it can go back to holding tension all it wants later, but right now, it has permission to let it go. And keep breathing. I'm just going to daydream together. Just like any daydream, when you're thinking about something, your mind sort of catches on it. We're going to let's go to Sugar Sand Beach together. This beautiful white powdery beach. It stretches on for miles. To your right is this gorgeous ocean of light. It's peacock blue and turquoise. It's sea glass green. It just glitters. It's soft. The edges of energy, foamy, come up on the sand, and you can just feel it beneath your toes as you discover yourself walking forward. Beautiful dunes of white sandy light are off to your left, and yet you are still walking, and it's as if you're being pulled forward. You have just the sense about the direction. It's right, it's good, it's where you should be going. It's the same as when you wake up and stretch in the morning and you realize you have a whole day ahead of you, a whole day gifted to you. That's the sense. All the time is being gifted to you, and you walk into it, you jump into it, you glide into it, you twirl, go do some twirls on this beach and let yourself expand. Feel a flowy gown of light or a suit of light just billowing out from you as you just dance forward, and you don't ask, where am I going or why? You just go because that's where you're meant to go. And as you do, you look to the left and to the right, and you see all these beautiful and wondrous things where the line of the ocean and sand meets. It's like the ocean itself. This light is pouring all kinds of gifts and presents up there for you to meet. The real ocean might pour shells and seaweed, but for you, it's big boxes wrapped with ribbons. They're dotting the sand. There's treasures half buried. You feel eager as a child. You want to run forward and lift up a big golden box and take the lid off and say, what is life gifting to me today? It's something I want. It's something that I'm creating. It's something I have my whole being buried in figuring out or growing or understanding. It's a part of myself, my being that wants to leap ahead. It's something in my life, my work, my family that I just want to come together in the most beautiful possible way. I lift the lid off this box and I drink in the light, the energy, the completion, the creation, whatever it is inside that I'm seeking. It's there for me, all mine. I take it in, all mine, drinking it into my being as I continue to move forward. And I just feel complete satisfaction. Complete satisfaction. It's a rain of blessings. My prayers have been answered. And all around me, I could look up at the sky and see the jewels of light, diamonds that speckle at all the stars reaching down to me and saying, you came here to create. You came here to discover and explore and become something greater than you started. Of course, we have all the materials for you. Your artist workshop is bursting to overflowing. You have people, you have opportunities, you have wealth, you have workspaces, you have all the things. Whatever you're encountering now, whether you're healing and growing through something or expanding and building, making and creating, let it lift off your fingertips. It's all here for you. Whatever you wish, pour yourself in. Don't wait for it to be given to you. Just take it. It's already there. It's yours. Take it. Receive it. Bring it in. And you notice now as you look around how far along this beach you've already wandered, and yet the horizon keeps moving, and you realize this is my whole life. This flow, this locked in energy of pure brightness, everything I need sweeping in constantly, the tides coming in and pulling out and coming in and pulling out without end. All that I need is here, and I can get as specific as I want in future encounters with this space. I can go deep in and really, really feel around something very personal and very specific to me, and I will. Until the moment when I can close my eyes and just let the feeling of having it or being it or discovering it just engulf me and feel as if, it's happened, and now I'm ready for the next thing. And onward we go, onward we go. You allow these feelings to settle in, just having touched them gently with your fingertips here today, this moment. Even as the imagery begins to fade, And you notice yourself coming back from the space. And there it is, your beautiful body waiting for you, your present moment ready to catch you and bring you right back. And whenever you're ready, you open your eyes.
Oh, that was lovely.
So that was very brief. And some people may have just barely touched it. Like, what is that? Because sometimes it takes a little bit longer to kind of get to that space, especially the first time. But you can go very deep in it. And it doesn't have to be a beach. It can be any sensation of flowing and moving forward through your life and time and gathering in all the materials, supplies, or opportunities, whatever it may be.
It really is a beautiful thing to, sorry to interrupt you, but it's a beautiful thing to do at new moon in particular, because that's when we send our wishes out to the universe. So it's really a way of getting clear on how good does it feel, you know?
Yes, exactly. And, I didn't even bring the moon in, but we may as well bring the
Yeah,
moon up into
could
that beautiful
easily, yeah.
sky and feel the energy of it also moving. Feel yourself cycling with the moon.
Yeah.
The
And
moon cycle and the wave cycle for me, just continuous. Waves
yeah.
come in, waves go out. Moon comes in, moon goes out. Manifesting comes in and receiving and healing and digesting goes out. It's the same principles.
And do you feel that a lot of your work was influenced by your 10 years at Hay House, the things you learned there?
When you mentioned creative flow dreaming, excuse me, not creative flow dreaming, creative visualization, I was thinking, I think that's Shakti Gawain. Remember her way
Yeah.
back from
Jackie
the
Gawain,
80s? And
or yeah,
yeah,
Mark
I always
Allen.
say it's like a little mix of a lot of things, because obviously Louise is like, well, just do your affirmations, absorb it, become it. And I would do them, but they always felt very flat to me. Like they need to go someplace. They need to go bigger than just being inside me. So that's where kind of the flow aspect came in. But the visualization, for me, daydreaming is just a way to keep my mind busy, because when I try and meditate, my mind just goes giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. I mean, all of my meditation is giddy up, giddy up. And I'm just like, let it go, just let it go, just let it go. So I said, I need something where I can not say let it go, but I invite you in. Yes, see things for me. Yes, do things for me. So that's where the visualization aspect came in. And flow itself, really was born of just this place that I found myself in one day. I remember it was the year 2000. And I was trying to create something very different in my life. I was trying to go into the literary scene and, it's this other long story. And I was practicing this with my mom, interestingly enough. And there was a point when we both said to one another, where are we? Why did we feel like we're not even attached to the earth anymore? Do you see what I'm seeing? And we both recognized it as kind of a space beyond space. Like you will actually feel this space when you reach it. And then I started to research afterwards. What is this? Stumbled on the concept of flow, did a lot of research, of course, into quantum consciousness, and thought to myself, that's where we're going. We found a secret back door in. So it's kind of a combination of things. I always say it's stupidly easy. A lot of people say, oh, well, I've done something like this before. I'm like, great, now you've got a name for it. Go to it. Have fun.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you've written a book about it?
Indeed, I have. Yep. Hay House book, or it used to be. Now it's back in my own hands. So I'm doing all kinds of things with it. It's called Flow Dreaming. And another book called Stuff Nobody Taught You. I realized that you can teach people how to manifest the biggest, most juiciest, wonderful things in their world, but most of us have kind of capped or limited what we're able to actually conceive of, let alone receive. So that's where the second book came in, and I just zero in on patterns and blocks and ceilings and lack thinking and all the stuff that gets in the way, and we kind of
Amazing.
just gently dismantle it so that you can take it to the next level.
Right. Okay. So, Summer, this has been brilliant. Thank you. I really think that it's going to appeal to a lot of people. Tell us where we can find you on the internet.
The internets.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that old joke. Yes, my website is the best place. Flow Dreaming. That's flow with an F, like Frank, not an S, because sometimes people think it's like
Ah,
slow, like the slow food movement or something. I'm like, no, it's a flow, FLOW, flowdreaming.com. I also have an app, a mobile app where you can kind of get a free tutorial. I'll take you through this. I give people. So the flow dreams is sort of like guided meditation. You can do it on your own. or you can do it guided. The person like me kind of doing half the work or the heavy lifting, because I'm telling you where to go and what to feel. You just have to concentrate on emotion. So I give you that for free. Like I said, go to my website, and the podcast, Flow Dreaming Still Kind of Woo Woo, is now in its 20th year.
Wow.
I know. I don't know what I had to say every single week for the last 20 years, but it's a great free resource for anybody who wants to learn. Or YouTube. Those are probably the places you'll find me most.
Okay, amazing. All right. And we'll put some links in the show notes below as well. All right. Well, Summer McStravick, thank you so much for that beautiful, unexpected little bit of flow dreaming. And I hope that we meet again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Yasmin. I really appreciate being here with you. And it's just special to, it's reconnect after 15 years or 14 years. That's
exactly.
Strange. That's what I say. Tide flows in, tide flows out. I'll talk with you in another 15.
Or maybe not that long, hopefully.
I hope not.